Goal Digger, before we dive in, I want to let you know about something I'm teaching live coming up that you do not want to miss. 10x your productivity workshop. We're going to do a 4-hour intensive. Now, don't worry, everything will be recorded, so go ahead and click the button to register. But if you're somebody who just feels overwhelmed, out of control, you have no method to your madness, or you're working hard, but you're not seeing the results because you're just not spending time on the right things, I'm going to teach you how I've become the most productive person I know. I juggle multiple businesses. I have two small children and a lot of sports. I get 8 hours of sleep. I go to yoga. I walk every day. I do all the things. I hang out with my husband on date nights, and we go to church. So if that seems too good to be true, click the button, grab your spot. I'm going to teach you how to 10x your productivity. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Goal Digger Girl podcast. I am so excited to bring on this special guest so you guys can meet him. I've personally worked with him, mentored under him for years, and you guys are in for a treat. So welcome on, Justin Prince. We are going to be talking about Be the One. So welcome on. I'm so excited to have you.
Kimberly, it's such an honor to be on with you. I'm so proud of you. It's funny for me because I feel like I've watched you now for, 10 years or whatever it's been, X amount of years. And
feels like it.
To watch, you were always a star, but your star just shines even brighter now, and so to watch what you've done and what you're doing and the value that you're adding and the person that you're becoming and the person that you are, it's really special. So just really happy for you. And I'm so honored to jam with you here for a few minutes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was actually, I had a chance to see you speak recently, and I told one of the girls that works for me, I'm like, I don't know if he does coaching, but he's going to coach me one day and he's going to teach me how to do that, because it really is about the message and how you deliver the message and how you leave people. And I forgot who told me this, but our goal on social media and as leaders in network marketing is to leave people better off than when we found them. And you are the king of doing that, but you also have such a strong belief, and you're a Christian like I am. You give glory to God in the most beautiful way. You're an incredible leader, and you have really shown people this is what it looks like to just be a good human, and I have just looked up to you, and you actually probably don't realize it, but when you reached out to me to help with the John Maxwell initiative to help network marketers, you were saying to me, I see you, I see you, I see your potential. You spoke belief into me that I needed at that time, because I did really quantum leap after that. So thank you.
Oh, that's so cool.
If people don't know who you are, which I don't know how they wouldn't, but tell us a little bit about you. Have you always been an entrepreneur? Just kind of bring us up to speed.
Yeah, well, so my wife and I live in Southern Utah. So it's a place called St. George. It's in the Red Rocks of Southern Utah. And we have 4 kids, bookend boys, 19 and 11 are our boys, and then 16 and 14 are our girls. And, I came from a broken home at age 12, kind of a middle-class family. We moved 13 times in the 7 years through the teenage years. I was my mom's oldest. When she married my dad, he had 2 kids. So I was my mom's oldest. So I was raised really the oldest at home for the single mom. And, I had really no professional background. I was making pizzas and I was doing construction work. I worked at a mall kiosk selling animated Bible videos at a mall kiosk. And I have no college education. So I had a semester and a half of college, So what I did have, and I hope that your listeners have this too, is just I had big dreams and big goals. Just one day I wanted to be somebody. One day I wanted to do something with my life, and I wanted to make my son proud of me. That he was just a little boy at the time, or I want to make my wife proud of me. I'm 25 years old and driving down the street. I work at a mall kiosk. I have my little son in the back seat, and I get a phone call, and it was basically about starting my own business in network marketing. Now, I didn't know anything about network marketing at the time, other than I was I had this inherent skepticism, which is oftentimes people are down on what they're not up on. And that was me. And long story short, my friends, I kind of had this what if moment. I don't know if you've ever had this, where you're kind of like, what if, what if this is that thing that if I really went for it and really put myself to it, what if this is almost like, what if God has placed this on my path, and what if I really go for it, And I decided to go for it. I gave it all I had. I started to go for it. And long story short, that first company, the company itself went out of business. I lost my entire business overnight. I was in a really precarious situation, Kimberly. I was back on credit cards, back on taxes. I was below zero financially, just in a really kind of tough situation. Had 2 little babies at the time. We moved into the loft of my wife's parents' garage. So I have 2 little kids sleeping in the closet. My wife and I are sleeping in this little loft. I go get 2 part-time jobs. One I did during the weekday, one I did on the weekend. And then I started another business because I was still had the dream that one day I could succeed, And I was just grinding. And I remember thinking to myself many times, I remember laying in bed At night, it's pitch black in the room. And I say to my wife, I say, "Are you awake?" And she goes, "Yes." "Are you awake?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, I say to her, I go, "Sweetheart, am I chasing a fake dream? Like, is this ever going to be real for me? Like, I know it's real for other people. I think sometimes people may see you or may hear your podcast and think, well, of course it works for her, and just not sure if it works for them." And my friends, if that's where you're at, I know those emotions. And fortunately for me, I had an incredibly supportive wife. She's like, "Yo, you got this. Hang in there. You're doing it." And long story short, since that time, I've, gone on to build 5 different multi-million-dollar businesses. My current business, I started 11 years ago. I started working on it 11 years ago. And that business is done. I ended up launching a new team. We helped to kind of recreate a business. We tore it down on the floorboards, rebuild it, new comp plan, new model, new name, new ownership, just new everything. And, we created a business that's done over $2.5 billion in revenue and over 4 million customers. And we've just built this incredible, business and life. And I now get to share with all of you that it's possible, that your dreams and your goals, that it's possible for you to create and to design an extraordinary life. And so that's a lot of where my passion comes from today is I made 2 promises when I was struggling. Kimberly, I was driving down the freeway, below zero financially, tears rolling down my face. It's just one of those things of I was having a conversation with myself, but honestly, like a conversation with God, and I said to myself, I made 2 promises. Promise number 1, if I ever succeed, I promise I won't forget what it feels like to struggle. Just that lump in your throat financially, that pressure on your chest, just that constant stress that you kind of feel like you're under. And then the second promise I made is if I ever become successful, I will do everything I can. I'll wear myself out to help other people to achieve their dreams and achieve their goals. And so, a podcast like this for me is I'm grateful for it because it allows me to fulfill that second promise, to see if I could share something with someone that says, "Hey, I got it." I keep going and keep moving forward.
Oh, and you are doing that. And that's so great. You've already impacted me, like I said, and so many others. And I just look at your online presence and I'm like, wow, it's just so cool to see the impact of that promise, that you made for yourself. And even, I've obviously heard you speak and, heard your trainings, but just at the conference, I was writing down all these notes, and the one, you don't realize it, but when you spoke, you said, you need a dream needs to be a dominant thought. And, I am the goal digger girl. I have goals, right? But I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a dominant thought right now. So I got home, got my journal out, and the girls are playing, the dog's running around. I'm like, doesn't matter. And I sat down and I was like, what are 3 goals? And I'm going to break it down and add 3 steps right now. And I sat there and it took, 30, 45 minutes. And I have my 3 things. And I was like, when's the last time I did that?
So powerful.
But I've got my dominant thought now. I've got my goals. I've got my plan. I can share it with my team. I know what I'm doing. And it was like, wow, just that one little nugget you said, I was like, shoot, man, it just really got to me. So let's talk about be the one, because your story, you know what it's like to struggle. My audience is predominantly female entrepreneurs, a lot of moms who are saying, I don't know if it is for me. I've been trying so hard and it's not working. They need belief, they need confidence, they need hope. But what is be the one? Where did this book idea come from, this concept, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah. Let me start by saying this. There's 2 lessons that I think all of us can learn from what you just said, at least 2. One is that you were in the room. My friends, the fact that you're listening right now, give yourself credit that you're listening to a personal development podcast and that you're listening to increase your goals and your ability to make things happen. The fact that she was in the room, and what I love about Kimberly is she didn't have to be in the room, right? At some points, I'm just going to stay home and chill. She still has that hunger to grow. Love that. Second thing is this. So in other words, it's one thing to be in the room because you have to hear it. So much of life is not taught, it's caught. It kind of hits you and you go, you know what? That one thing, this one little thing of goals should be, or, your dream should be a dominant thought that hits you. But then here's the second thing is that you applied it. You instantly got into action. If there's one piece of advice I'd share, so you're already here, so congratulations. But the second thing is hopefully there's one thing that we'll share that you can be all right, I'm going to put that into action, because Da Vinci said it's he that doeth the deed that hath the power. If you want the power, you have to do the deed. You can't just be in the room. You can't just listen. You can't just, you have to apply. And so I don't know, what a cool, I love that story. There's so many great leadership lessons and so many reasons, success leaves clues. You can see why you have become who you become because of like the way you apply stuff. So I love that. So this idea of be the one, let me share this, my friends. It hit me at one point. You'll notice it's not called Become the One. So the book's called Be the One. Be the One. It's not become the one. In other words, you already are the one. Success is an identity process. In other words, you'll never outperform the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as a loser, you won't show up and play like a winner would. If you see yourself as a winner, you won't roll over and quit like a loser would. James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. He tells a story about two boys. The two boys, one of them stole the candy. And they said to the first child, did you steal the candy? The little boy said, I didn't steal it. And they said to the second child, did you steal the candy? And the little boy says, I don't steal. Ooh. I didn't steal the candy as an action. I don't steal is an identity. Mm-hmm. And they were saying, it wouldn't be true with who I am as a person. So success is an identity process. Yes. And when you realize you are the one. So if you take your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, if you go back 12 generations, it's 4,094 people. That's the ancestral math, right? 4,094 people from all over the world that came together to create you. Like your life has value and purpose and meaning. You're not here by accident. Like your life matters. And you are the one. You're the one that they all lived for, bled for, had triumphs and tragedies, strengths and weaknesses, like tears and joy for you to have this moment right now. You are the one. And once you realize that, you start to say, I'm going to be that person that like future generations of kids look up in the family lineage and they know my story. They say it was her. She's the one that changed our family. Like abuse ended with her. The addiction ended with her. It stopped with my great grandma. She's the one that taught us the economic principles. You're the one. So that's the first part. Second part is this. Here's where I feel like my passion came for it. Is I didn't want to write a book that only inspired and motivated. I hope it does those things, by the way. I hope you feel inspired. The word inspire, by the way, comes from the root, which means to breathe life into. So if someone is inspired, they had life breathed into. So I hope it inspires you. I hope it motivates you. But really what I hope it does is it teaches you. Because when I look at my career and I'm like, man, how did this happen? How did I go from like broken home, business failing, no college education, no like background in business at all, to like multi-billion, these $1 billion in sales and the whole, like, how did this happen? And what happened is I learned really simple, tactical, practical steps to take. So in other words, I wasn't just motivated all the time. Jim Rohn says the best. He says, you have an idiot and then you motivate him, you have a motivated idiot. So it's just like, I learned stuff. I changed, I grew. And so it's a roadmap for you to create, design, and live an unforgettable life. Every chapter is the way I teach. Kimberly, you've seen this. I could teach through stories. In fact, I would almost say, you guys know how life happens. Like you start to be like, I kind of know my little giftings. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of figure out things that you're kind of like good at or whatever. Yeah. So teaching through stories is one of my little things. I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of good at like just relaying the story. So I teach through stories, but then I give you practical, tactical things that you can do. And what you'll love about it is every single chapter, you're like, got it. I can apply that. I can apply that. So it's not super complex things. There's things you can do. And I'm telling you, every single one will change your life. Not just the accumulation of all of them, each one, my friends. And so the point is, you are the one. The book is designed to help you to be the one today. In other words, be that person, not become that person, but be it, step into it, act as if like you start being the person you were born to be.
I love that. And it's like the little boy that said, I don't steal. That's his identity. Mm-hmm. And, if you guys are listening, we'll be streaming this on YouTube and on the business page as well, so you can watch the video. If you are somebody who is struggling with the lack of consistency, that's a big one I'm seeing is stop, go, but just not even posting every day, right? And they want to have these brands and they want to be a leader in their network marketing or even just have their business working and growing, is to be able to pause and go through the book, obviously, but to say, am I being that way? Yeah. Online, right? Because most of everyone that I work with is on social media. Like, are you, if you want to be a leader, would a leader just post once in a while? Like, no. So it's so easy to say, oh, okay, to be that person, I just need to post every day. Like, this is not going to be some crazy formula. They don't need to like go and get a degree. Like, you're literally going to say, like, today you can start being that person. And I love how it's got the practical application too, because with books, I love books. I read like at least one book a week, if not more. And there's so many times where I can grab nuggets because I'm like, I can retain things really easy. A lot of people can't. So what is it? Education constipation.
Mm-hmm.
Just have so much knowledge. And like you said, we don't want the knowledge, which is great. We need the practical application. So when they go through the book, would you recommend that they go through, get that action step, pause, implement it, and then go to the next part? What's the experience going to be like with this book?
Yeah, I think every chapter will be an experience. I'll give you as an example. Let me talk to the person that's hearing this saying that, you're saying like that, stop, go. I teach a success cycle, like a formula. And I'll give you this, but I want to hit you on the second subject because I think this is so important because it's an identity subject. But the cycle is confidence. You start there's 3 C's. It's a 3 C success formula. The first one is confidence, right? Confidence is the foundation of your success. Believing in yourself, my friends. If you don't believe in you, it's hard to get everyone else to believe in you. You got to just say, hey, I've been through some tough things. I can make it through this. I can learn new skills. I can grow. Like you have some baseline confidence in yourself, right? Confidence leads to commitment because the more confident you are, the more committed you become. Why? Because how committed are you to things you have no confidence in? If you're like, I have zero confidence I'm going to win, well, then your commitment's pretty low, right? If you're like, hey, I have confidence I can learn some stuff. It may take me longer. I remember thinking, I was like, it may take me years, but I'm going to figure this thing out eventually. Well, it's that gave me the commitment to not just lay down when I got beat up. I had some resiliency to keep moving forward. The commitment also is I'm going to post every day. I'm going to take the action steps. In other words, I'm maybe planting the seeds, even though I'm not harvesting, because I have the confidence the harvest is going to come. Right. Well, the more committed you become, that leads to competency. Competency is what? That's your skill sets. And one of the reasons I love Kimberly is she teaches skills. In other words, she teaches you to become a more skilled person because the more your competency grows, guess what happens? The more your confidence grows. The more confident you become, the more committed you become, the more committed you become, the more skilled and more competent you become, and it just starts to feed the loop. So let me give you an example. Let's say that right now you're hearing this and you don't really feel like you have an identity where you're like, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make this thing happen. One of the things I teach is to update your identity. You are not who you are. You are who you were born to be. And the way to think about it is you are also not your mistakes. You are not what you did. You are what you repeatedly do. So you can update this stuff. I'll give you as an example. I tell a story about a friend of mine I worked with years ago. His name's Jaime Molina. Kimberly, I hope one day you get to meet Jaime and his wife, Ramona, as sweet as they come. He's comes from a Mexican-American background. They're super devout in their Christian Catholic faith. You would want your daughters to marry Jaime. He's as sweet of a person as it comes, right? They have 4 beautiful daughters now. And lives in Southern California. Jaime works with the troubled youth in his community. So he does coaching and trainings to help the troubled youth. Well, he tells them the story about a man named E9400. E9400 was born on the border town in Texas, El Paso. At age 8, he was introduced to alcohol. At age 9, he was sexually abused by someone 24 years older than him, became sexually active. At age 14, was introduced to really, really hard drugs. At 15, became a mule for the cartel. So he was not only strung out on drugs, but he was delivering the drugs for the cartel. At age 24, he was convicted of 11 felonies and went and served prison in San Quentin. So let me say this. You don't want to go to prison, period. If you're going to go to prison, you don't want to go to San Quentin. This is like one of the roughest prisons with the murderers and rapists and one of the roughest prisons in all of America. Well, he tells this story. And then one of the days he walks in, he says to his students, he goes, what do you guys think happened to E9400? So let me ask you guys, what do you think happened? What are the odds? Let's just do like an odds test. Is he in prison? Is he alive? Is he strung out on drugs? Is he, living a great life? In other words, what are the odds? Like if we were doing an odds test, it'd be like, does not look good. When you're introduced to alcohol at 8, you're sexually abused and become sexually active at 9. You can't drive yet and you're strung out on drugs. You can't drive yet and you're a mule for the cartel. You serve multiple years in San Quentin. This is not looking so good, right? No. So one of the days he says to the students, he goes, would you guys like to meet E9400? The kids all look around like, oh my gosh, yes. He goes, he's out in the hallway. So he walks out in the hallway, closes the door behind him. The kids are kind of anxiously waiting. He walks in. E9400 doesn't come in yet. It's just Jaime. Jaime walks to the front of the room and he says, I am E9400. My friends.
Oh my gosh, drop the mic.
Jaime identity was E9400. E9400 was his prison, the 6-digit prison number that he was given. And so his identity for years of his life was E9400. That was his identity. But that's not who Jaime was. That's not who he was born to be. Who he was born to be is Jaime Molina. Who he was born to be was to marry beautiful Ramona. Who he was born to be is to be a father to these beautiful children. Who he was born to be is to work in the financial services industry and to help troubled youth, to share his message. He's not E9400. That's not his identity. That's not who he is. He is who he was born to be. And my friends, you can update this stuff because who you once were, what your identity once was, you can update this. Just like you can update the software on your iPhone, you can update your identity of saying, I'm not going to be that person anymore. I'm going to go be the one for my family, the one for my heritage. I'm going to be that one. And I'm going to be that one starting right now today. I'm going to update this and start acting as if I'm that one. And literally you walk right into the person you were born to be.
Work is done here. Holy cow. That was so freaking awesome. And I do want to meet him. I'm going to manifest that. I'm going to come to one of your events and meet him. That is so badass. I love that. So we all have to have this book. So we'll put the link below. This is going to drop before it releases. So you guys, they can get a pre-order copy.
Yeah. Pre-order copy. So the book launches on September 26th. And let me share something with you guys about books. Okay. The way that books work, there's kind of like walking into the behind the scenes of this. Every one of these pre-orders matter because it helps the books become like basically on the bestseller list and so on. And you might say, I don't like, why do I care if you're on the, don't worry about me being on the bestseller list one way or the other. Follow me through on this though. There's an old saying that says, evil prevails when good men and good women do nothing. In other words, if there's not good content out there, if there's not people that are looking like you and I and Kimberly, like have a common heart to inspire people and to help them to become their best versions of themselves, the alternative is all the crap that you're going to see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like we vote with our dollars. We vote with our attention. And so the book will change your life, but the book will also be a book that will change millions of people's lives as well. So I really would love to have your help and have your support to where you're like, yo, I'm pre-ordering, dude. Like, let's like promote this stuff so that we're promoting things that when our kids get access to it. And, you know, the next generation of kids get access and we start saying to our 15-year-old son or our 9-year-old daughter, hey, you're the one. You are the one. Your life matters. Like, here's the way you go be that person today that we can go create a global movement, you know, with one another.
Yeah. And I just started, my oldest is preteen officially. She's 9 and she's asking the questions. And I have been like, Jesus, take the wheel. And finally I was like, be proactive about this. So I found this book where each night we can discuss, it's biblical, but we can discuss about her and her identity and who she is. And we're starting to do that now. Could you imagine if we could get this book into preteens, teens, 20, 30, 40, women who are 75 going, is there still hope for me? And
that's right.
Yes. Okay. This is legacy. This is mission work. This is like literally changing the world. We have the opportunity to do that. And it sounds pie in the sky, but it is that one book. It is that one book that you grab and you read and it inspires something in you that you turn around and do. Like, this is the ripple effect. And we have an opportunity to be a part of this. So this is what I'm going to have you guys do. Because you know me, I'm all about taking action. I want you guys to grab the book. And then what I want you to do is take that link when you see it and copy it. Okay, grab the book. Then I want you to post it in your stories that you bought it. I want you to tag me and Justin. I'll actually give you a shout out for doing it. And your Instagram is I am Justin Prince.
Yeah, I am Justin Prince. Yeah.
I am Justin Prince is his Instagram. You'll find it. I want you to tag him. You can put links in your story. So I want you to say, grab a copy and give them a call to action. What this does is it allows your audience to see you're a leader, you're cutting edge. You have tools and resources to help the people around you be better. That actually helps you as well. So you're going to pay it forward. And then obviously we can help more people. I mean, imagine if all of us did that. Like, we're going to get this book to be a global international bestseller, which is going to be so amazing. But most importantly, read the book, you guys. Okay. So I'm so excited to have you just doing this and getting your work out. This is one of many of books that you're going to create in your lifetime. And just honor to know you, to have mentored under you, to call you my friend, and to be a part of what you're doing. Just makes my heart really happy. So thank you for coming on here today.
I feel the exact same way. And you know, to watch you be the person you were born to be, to like have the courage, build your confidence, build your commitment to it, because your commitment to yourself is ultimately your commitment to the people that you were born to serve. Right. And then ultimately continue to build these skills. It's been so cool to watch. So just really admire you and respect you a ton. And I'm so honored to be able to, you know, share here with your audience and just love the, you know, the work that you're doing and the value that you're adding.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So thank you. And thank you guys for listening and watching. So you know the drill, throw it in your stories and tag us. We'd love to shout you out for that. And I'm really excited to have you on today, Justin. So until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.